Hello, I'm Jeff Carter. If you, like me, love to paint and draw interesting houses and urban sketches, but you find maybe perspective is a bit of a challenge or it puts you off, then come and see how I distort perspective and exaggerate it to create fun and engaging images. I really hope you sign up for the workshop. I look forward to seeing you there.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you can hear us and see us okay, please type llama in the chat. Feel free to let us know where you are viewing from today. How is it there? Jeff and I have been talking about how the weather is so nice where he's at. So yeah, let us know and I'll get you guys get acquainted in the chat. Meanwhile, hello everyone, my name is Kathleen. I'm with Etchr. I'm your studio host for today, and for those who are new with Etchr, we are an art learning platform who works with art teachers from all across the globe. And today's free demo is brought to you by a teacher who has taught with Etchr before. And I can see because you guys were already waiting. We've got a lot of people already. Kathy says hi from Lakewood, Ohio. Hi, Anne from Maryland. Haley from Netherlands. Sam says hi. Ontario, Canada, from Czech Republic. Wow. Kathleen, hey Kathleen, from Anzona. Where are you from again, Jeff? Marin. Yep. Where are you from, and how is it there, Jeff, again?
Yeah, I'm in Cambridge in the UK, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, so I'm enjoying the day.
That's amazing. All right, we've got. I'll just say hi to these lovely people. Hello from Germany, Catherine from England. Okay. Sunny day here in Ontario. Mr. GC, wow, you've ooh, the chat exploded. I'm sorry, I can't mention all of you, but you guys are amazing. We're all across the globe. You guys were all across the globe. What time is it where you're at? Wow. All right. Again, and as I was saying, today's free demo is brought to you by a repeat artist, which means he has taught before with Etchr already. So his name is Jeff Carter, and we're welcoming him back. And this serves as a preview for his 90-minute class, which I'll let Tim talk about later. And that's available on our website. But if you're curious to know about his 90-minute class, I'll just drop that link in the chat. And just a few reminders, if you have any questions for Jeff, just feel free to type them in the chat in all capital letters, just like this. And if you're going to be following along today, we have links in the chat for the reference photos and other links that you might find useful. So with that said, Jeff, can you let us know what you'll be doing today and how that connects to your Etchr class?
Yeah, thanks, Kathleen. So today we're just going to be doing a quick sketch, which is going to just show a little bit about my style and the way I do things. You can always check out my Instagram feed, which is @JeffsWatercolor, if you'd like to see more about the kind of style and the things I'm doing. In the longer class, we'll be looking at this in a bit more detail. I mean, clearly today is going to be a fairly quick sketch, so I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are.
Awesome. All right, I'll just go ahead and share my screen right here. There you go. All right, I think we can start.
Okay, so good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whichever time of the day it is for you guys. If I was to describe my style, I guess I would say that I struggled with perspective right at the start of my original art of drawing houses. You can see here one of my pictures, and I don't really like straight lines very much. I find them very hard to do. I don't really want to find myself measuring things to make them absolutely perfect. I'd rather just play, and when I play, I have a lot more fun. So that's why you can see my artwork is a little bit crooked or wonky, as you might see. What you're looking at now is a local pub. What I've tried to do is I've tried to really bring out the character, which is really what I'm trying to achieve in my drawings and my artwork. So here you've got this nice, wobbly roof. I think it tells you a little bit about, the fact that it's a nice pub and it's welcoming. Here we've got a bakery, which I really like this one because you've got all sorts of different textures and brickwork and different colors, which kind of adds such a lot to to what we do as we artists. And when you look at color, I mean, we can play with color in such a way that if it's called Pink Lane Bakery, you make it pink, right? You make it really pink. And one of the things we'll be looking at in the classes is how to create sort of watercolor techniques that splash color around a little bit. If you like to just have fun and play with color, then that'll be in my class as we go forward. This is a nice, it's called the Irish Pub, but it's actually an art gallery. And I don't know whether you can get a drink in there as well. Maybe someone from Ireland would be able to tell me that. But again, look at the colors in this. And this is what I'm trying to bring together: a simple image, relatively straight at the picture, but also bring in some color. So what are we going to do today? I'm going to be working on these houses today, not the one on the right, just the two on the left. They're in a street which is relatively close to where I live, and the street is filled with houses that are all brightly coloured, oranges and purples and yellows and blues, and at the top of the street, you could argue that these houses maybe look a little plainer, but actually this is the type of thing that we're going to be creating. We're going to take the houses and we're going to try and make them look really, really beautiful. I mean, to me, they've got a lot of character, and that's what I'm going to be trying to bring out. So let's make a start. I'm using an Etchr sketchbook, which is a watercolor block. I do like these blocks because it means they're fixed at the side. So if you throw water around, you're able to keep the paper straight and flat. I'm going to be using pencils and fine liners for this drawing. And well, there you go. There's the pencil I'm going to be using. So I've got an 02, 03, and an 08. So it just gives you different thicknesses, and I'll kind of explain as we go through what we're going to be doing with them. And that's a Tombow pen. And a Tombow pen is I just use for shading, because today we're not going to get the chance to paint, but we can certainly put some shading into the image to give it a bit more dimension. I always start with a pencil. I know there's different views on using a pencil, but I just believe that a pencil can give you all sorts of different shapes, and you can play with lines, and you can keep moving them around. But let's go back to the kind of reference photo. It's really two houses that I think have been together for hundreds of years, and so they're like old friends. That's the way I look at it. What's in their character? They're old friends, and what you can see on the screen is the first thing I've done is I've actually taken the pad and turned it round. Because as soon as you put that into portrait mode, you find yourself changing the shape of what you draw. It means that you have to alter the image. You have to do things a little differently, and that works to what I like to do in my art. I've drawn a box around this, as you can see, just because I have a terrible habit of my art disappearing off the sides of the page. So I draw a little box just to keep to kind of create myself a drawing space. I'm looking at three lines here: the roof line, the first floor line, and the second floor line. Really simple, just sketching it out in a pencil. All of these lines are going to get rubbed out at the end. So I'm just playing with a pencil, just throwing it around, and you can see already I'm starting to create some kind of shapes, some unusual shapes and things, just to try and make things more interesting. I don't want to be using rulers and drawing straight lines. If I did create that house, as you can see, straight, that's on the screen is what you can see. You can see the two houses side by side, and as I say, if they're old friends, you want to create some character. So here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at these straight lines, which gives me the outline of the house. But I'm going to start to play with those lines. I'm going to start to give them some attitude, a bit of shape. If I do this with a roof, what you can see straight away is it means that I've created one line, and that one line, which is very crooked, is really setting me free, because I don't need to worry about perspective anymore. My roof is so crooked that actually the rest of the drawing can be fluid, and it can start to move. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to take the original line I've created and then just work with it. I just love to go sit with a cup of coffee in front of a couple of houses and just play. I'm not trying to sell this picture to anyone. I'm not trying to do anything with it other than just have fun, and fun comes from the doing, not from looking at it afterwards. They've got a couple of roof windows, which we don't want roof windows looking straight out. We want them to start to work within the shapes that we've created. So that roof is crooked enough. So why not have the windows looking out into the sky? You know, that's kind of what I'm trying to create with the shape of that. And now I've got these really sort of fluid lines. I can start to work with them even more. So let's do something crazy with the side of these houses. Let's give them a bit of shape and start to play with the pencil just to see whether we can create something which is a bit different to normal. I'm giving myself some guidelines now for windows so that you can see me just sketching in the windows. This looks really messy, you know, but my drawings always at this stage look really messy because I'm just playing with lines. If I see a line I like, I go with it. If I see a line I don't like, I'll just draw over it. And I'm starting to play even more now with some of these shapes and create things which are definitely the house. You know, I'm trying to show the character of the house, but I'm not portraying it absolutely accurately. You know, this is a fun drawing for me. I'm starting to just draw in the door frames here and just give it a bit of shape. You can see I need to give myself a bit more time down the sides there. So that's just increase the width a little bit. Yeah, let's make it even more. Let's give it a bit more attitude and make it a bit more shaped as well. And if you look at these two houses, you know, as I say, they've probably sat next to each other for 200 or 300 years. They've seen everything. So it's time for me to kind of bring out the beauty, which is what I always try to do. I paint a lot of house commissions where people ask me to paint their houses, and everyone wants their house to look beautiful in the sunshine when the roses are always out. You know, I don't get people saying to me, "Oh, can you paint my house in the middle of winter?" You know, it's always give me here's my house, here's pictures of my house. You know, can you kind of really bring out its character and make it look beautiful? And my style is unusual. You know, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just a way that I've learned to play. What I'm doing here is I'm just taking a center line, and I'm using that center line just to draw out the pavement or the sidewalk. So it enables me just to create a bit of a lead in, so that your eyes can look at the pavement and then move into the picture. Just adding some of the detail. I'm not going to do too much more with pencil now because it's starting to take shape. But just the way I like to do this, it enables me to then choose the line with the pen that I like the best and ignore the ones I don't. So my pictures quite often change shape. But I hope what you're seeing is that the loose drawing gives you some life and some energy. And what you can see with my hand has moved much closer to the front of the pencil now, because at the start, you know, I'm holding the pencil right at the end and I'm just allowing it to dance over the page and just create these things. Once I start to see the shape of the house emerging, I'm starting to, my hand is going much closer to the point of the pencil, and I'm starting to give it a lot more definition. You know, I'm starting to put things in a bit more detail. There's a bush there. Look, let's just throw that bush in. That'll look better when it's in pen. But now the picture you can see is so far out of straight lines that I was always frustrated that if I drew a house and tried to keep the perspective absolutely accurate, you know, there'd always be a window that wasn't quite straight, or a wall that looked like it was leaning in or leaning out. And it used to get me quite frustrated. It started to feel like my art was becoming like a school exam. You know, I'd start it and I go, oh, I did that bit right, and I did that bit wrong, and maybe I could have done that bit a bit better. And I just found that if I wanted to just lay back and enjoy my art, you know, just relax into it, then what I wanted to do is to find something where I didn't have to worry whether it's right or wrong. I could just play. And this is where I ended up. You know, it's just a style that I find very comfortable now. I'm putting the fine liner on, and I'm just starting to find the shapes I like. You know, if there's a line that looks nice, then I'll follow it. If there's a line that doesn't, then I'll stay away from it and just draw it in a bit differently. But of course, once you pull out the fine liner, you can't rub that out anymore. So there's immediately a kind of a tension that builds inside of you that says, once I put this black line on, you know, I can't change things anymore. So this is how the kind of the original pencil drawing and the pen drawing will work together. And what we'll be covering in some of my lessons going forward, and I really enjoyed the lessons I did with Etchr last year. I met some great people on some of the classes, and we had such fun. But what we'll be talking about is which fine liners to use, how to create the kind of shapes that we're working on. And there's never a wrong shape. You know, if you look at this drawing, it's very crooked, it's very wonky. You know, so there isn't a wrong shape in here. You know, and it sets you free. It enables you just to go with the flow and just play. And I'm just kind of tightening up on some of the detail of the windows now, just to give them, you know, a bit more definition. And I love these sky windows, these windows that look out into the sky. One of the things that we will be doing is in the class, we'll be talking about how to paint this. So how to get those reflections in windows, you know, how to paint a nice sky that gives the building some height or some shape, if that's what you're looking for. And what you can see is the shape I'm using for the walls of this house, the roof that's pointing up, is kind of giving the house elegance. It's giving the house some height. And so when we start to paint it, we can start to think about what else we can do to drive that, you know, to make that look even more elegant, to make it look beautiful, you know, because these houses they've got so much history in them. They've lived such a long life that it's up to me to kind of bring that out. And I know not everyone is going to like the style that I use, and that's absolutely fine, you know, because that's what art's all about, isn't it? It's about not kind of judging what we do. It's about just having fun and enjoying it. But I hope I'm trying to capture the character of this house. I hope the house would enjoy the picture that I'm kind of creating of it. Just putting in some of the green work here. There's nothing like a bit of greenery around the front of the house to just throw those nice colours in. And quite often I'll have the green work flying away from the house, because I think that kind of gives the house, you know, something to make it more interesting. What you can see is I'm not using curved lines. I'm kind of making short, sharp movements, and it just helps to keep the definition, but at the same time give the house some kind of shape. And if you're drawing along with this, I hope you're enjoying this, because this is I try to keep my drawing simple. You know, you'll see a lot of the work I do, if you look at my Instagram work, so much of it is two-dimensional, where I'm looking straight at the house. And as I say, when people have commissioned me to paint their house, quite often you don't always get an image which is the one that is the best to paint. So you've got to time to think about that yourself. And if you'd like to, you know, draw your own house, or your friends' houses, or neighbours' houses, then maybe this is a way of doing it that will make them laugh. You know, maybe this will bring a smile to their face, just by doing the drawing a little differently to maybe what they would have expected. Now I'm just kind of touching in the windows here. I had an interesting experience just quite recently, where someone asked me to draw a house as a gift for their friend, and they walked around the garden of the house with the phone held against their ear, you know, pretending to be on the phone, but at the same time clicking away with pictures. And what I was given was 12 pictures, all of different bits of the house, and it was my job as the artist to then bring it together and make it look like the house. But it was a really good fun exercise to do. You know, when you get a picture of a door and a picture of a window, and then, you know, off you go, make that house look beautiful for me.
That is quite a challenge.
Yeah, well, Google Maps is a challenge as well, because you can do a very nice picture of the wrong house on Google Maps, you know, because number 83 is not always number 83.
Mm-hmm. Good point. And speaking of, we've got Marin right here in the chat saying, I have an architectural background and my brain wants to refuse so hard. So this takes bravery, but it already gives it a dramatic character, says Marin.
Yeah, it's probably torture for an architect, because I'm just playing with lines to create different shapes. But there are lots of ways of doing things, and you know, I just like to create art that's fun, that makes me smile, that makes me laugh, you know. And quite often, if I'm out, and you'll see this because I post it regularly on Instagram, but sometimes if I paint houses like this, I would just knock on the door and give people the picture. And that's another way of really finding a lot of reward out of your art, because you meet some wonderful people, you hand them pictures of their house. You know, imagine that. You know, you sit in your house one day, someone knocks on the door and says, "You've got a beautiful house, and I've painted it, and here's the picture. I'd like you to have it." You know, and it's a great way of making yourself feel good. Now, I'm saying that maybe when they close the door, they say, "Look at this crazy guy who's drawn this wobbly picture of my house." You know, maybe that's what they're saying. I don't know, but hey, you know, this is what art's about, isn't it? Which is all about having fun and sharing. Now, I'm rubbing out those lines that I don't need anymore, just to give myself a much cleaner image. I'm trying to keep the energy and the life that the pencil gives me through the line drawing. I don't know whether you can see that there. So now I'm just going in with a different pen, just give me a bit more detail. Obviously, the smaller pen you can use for some of these detail points like this in the roof. It's quite nice because it sends it back a little bit, doesn't impose. You can see the lines that I'm putting on now in a very thin line are staying back behind those windows, because they're clearly a much finer line. And in a moment, I'll put in the darker lines, and you'll see how they bring things forward. Just putting in a few roof tiles now. You know, this just a bit more detail of the image. Sometimes I do this before I paint, sometimes I do it afterwards. But again, when we do the longer workshop, we'll be doing all sorts of different techniques and different ways of you know, tricks really and tips. I'm a self-taught artist. I don't have an art background as such. So a lot of the things I do, a lot of things I learned are just simple things that I've learned from doing myself. Some are right, some are wrong, you know, but I just do it to have fun and play.
It's very inspiring. We've got Ralph saying in the chat, after 20 tries, I took this approach and was very pleased. So was my sister and her husband.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. Yeah. And I think it can just, you know, set you free from the worry that, you know, is this right or is this wrong? Because when it is so wrong, it doesn't matter. You know, you can just relax into it and have fun. And that's kind of where I got to. I was getting quite frustrated with my art, because it felt as if every time I picked up the pens or the paints, I felt like I had to create some kind of masterpiece that everyone had to see. But it's not like that. You know, the most enjoyable part is in the moment when you're doing it, and it's if you can kind of do more of what you enjoy, then you'll find a style that works for you. You know, some people will find a way of doing things, and you just kind of relax into that style. Yeah. Here we go. I love that center line that really defines that you've got a house on the left and a house on the right. Mm-hmm. I'm using the Tombow pen here, and normally what I would do now is so in the longer workshop, what we'll do is we'll start to think about what are the things that are going to really make this beautiful, elegant house look more elegant. So I actually would put a nice blue sky across the back of it, which I would float into the image. I'd put some color into the roof, and I'd start to think about the colors I'd be using to bring out some of the shape of the house. Here I'm just, you know, putting in shadow, but again we'd be painting all of this in, and it makes such a difference. You know, the shadow lines make such a difference to an image. And things, artists, you know, we can create any season that we want. We can create spring, we can create summer. You know, we can put the sun on the left or the right or at the top or the bottom. You know, we're able to play and just enjoy, you know, what we're trying to create, and just make something just look the way we kind of imagine in our head. You know, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So there you go. You know, I've given you a different, but this is further down that street. Actually, it's what I was telling you earlier, that there's some houses down the street that are nice colours. Here's an example of just having painted something in, how different it looks once you create the image. And it is just this is something we might do on the longer workshop. and you here you've got such a lot of nice things that you can play with. You've got some brickwork there, which starts to give you a different technique. It makes me laugh every time I see this, because you've got Read Books is the name of the shop, and I just think Read Books is such a funny name for a shop. It's such an appropriate name. Sorry, not funny. It's such an appropriate name. And then you've got that lovely blue house next to it with the Pantar roof. So you've got some variations there. So that's kind of what we'll be doing at the longer class.
Awesome.
And there it is. That's the image that we've just drawn with a bit of paint on it. Not a great deal, but sort of thing you can sit there with a cup of coffee in the street and create that type of thing. So I hope you've enjoyed it.
Awesome. I think they did. We've got some lovely comments earlier in the chat, which I'll be reading to you, Jeff, shortly. Meanwhile, I'll stop sharing so that you guys can see us, and we could go ahead and answer some of your questions if you do have. Let's see. While we wait for some questions, I'll just backtrack to some of these lovely comments right here. Catherine says, love Jeff's work. I enjoy buildings, but don't really have the imagination yet to do something different, but hopefully will develop. Do you have any advice for like maybe beginners, someone who's trying out this technique just yet? Yeah,
start with something really simple. Try not to overextend yourself, and if just pick a very simple house, paint it absolutely straight on. Don't try and do strange angles on the side. Just paint it straight on, draw it straight on. Just break it into the big shape. Most houses have got a roof and then 2 floors. Just mark those out, and then just start to play with your pencil and see where the line takes you. And things will emerge. I know this sounds maybe simplistic, but things will emerge, and some things you'll like and some things you won't like. So just start to play with it. And I hope a single line that's a bit wonky will set you free and enable you to put all those concerns about perspective behind you and just play with shapes.
Yeah, I hope you do find this very liberating instead of nerve-wracking. We've got Ralph again saying the Google Map picture of a house I painted was better than the ones I was provided from my sister. That was one of the examples Jeff was talking about, I guess. Let's see. What a nice guy, says Anne. Let's see. I just dropped in Jeff's Instagram account if you guys are curious to see more of his works. Let's see, what else do we have right here? Oh, someone asked for your Instagram account. Oh, I got some questions right here. Wow, you guys have a lot of questions. Hold on. All right, you have great, unique houses where you live in the US, or our houses look the same, says Anne. Oh, I guess Google Maps would be helpful for that, won't it?
Yeah, but you'd be surprised, actually. I mean, I'm lucky, I live in a place where all around me there's houses that's 300 or 400 years old, so there's a lot of character. But I recently painted a bar in the US, in New Orleans, which I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that one. And there's lots of different shapes and things that you can create from, just look at a shop front or or something that you pass in the street and try to look at it in a slightly different way and just see how it comes out.
Yeah, just look around. You've got lots of amazing places. I think, let's see, we just need to look for it.
One thing that is really nice to look at is Instagram does a lot of drawing challenges, which are really interesting to get involved in. If you're missing out on inspiration, you're sitting there and you can't think what to draw. Just put in hashtag draw this in your style, and you'll see lots of drawing challenges, and you'll see how different people interpret them. And it's a really nice way of taking one picture and seeing how 50 different people will draw it and paint it. I've just posted one this morning of an old truck, and when I looked at all of the different pictures, I thought, well, how can I make it a bit different, bit unique? And I tried to stretch the perspectives to play around with it.
Good advice. I just posted the, oops, it's not 3, I'm sorry, it's a hashtag DTIYs or do this in your style on Instagram. So you might find that. You might be curious to check that out on Instagram. Right. Let's see. I'll try to address the more of a technical questions first. Claudia says, amazing art. What kind of paper do you use for these? Do you have a preference?
Yeah, so I always use cold press knot paper, and it's just something that I've got used to over time. It doesn't like the pens don't like it at all because there's a slight texture to the paper, so it tends to burn the nib out on the pen quite quickly. But it's just the paper that I've got used to, and I really like. I do put a lot of water. I like a lot of technique. I like splashing and playing with water sometimes, and so I like a paper that holds up to that. I've been using the Etchr watercolor block, which is really good because it's a nice weight and it holds the color well. I also like Arche paper, and that's one I use quite a bit, which is a French paper, and that's a really nice paper as well.
Amazing. I'll just go ahead and drop some links in the chat. Meanwhile, I'll just read another question right here. Kim is asking, do you take a photo and paint at home or from memory, from imagination? I think Jeff has touched on that, but would you mind letting us know again?
I think in the summer I like getting out. That's when the weather's nice, there's nothing better than being out. And I've got a good friend and we go out sketching together. And we sat in a coffee shop the other day. Who wouldn't want to sit in a coffee shop with a nice cup of coffee, looking at a building and just sketching it? And people come up and chat to you, and the owner of the coffee shop come up and chat to us, and we were having a good time. And it adds to the art, it adds to the experience of creating that piece of art. But no, a lot of my work, I do a lot of very detailed work, which takes 4 or 5 hours to complete, and that is always done at home. Yeah. So it's all from a photograph, and what I normally do is provide people with a picture to see if it works, and then we start to play with it. But yeah, that's all done at home because there's a lot of detailed work in there. But there's nothing better than just getting out there with a sketch pad and just doing it, just having fun with it.
Great. Let's see. We've got curious question from Wendy. Are you planning to do a book?
Oh, well, I'm not planning on doing a book. It's something that I've had a number of messages about, but no, it's not something that's in my mind at the moment.
That's too bad. I guess we are all like looking forward for a book, but who knows? Maybe someday, maybe that's in a pipeline. I don't know. But let's see. We've got there are no more questions. I'll have to read some comments. Lovely comments right here. Kathy says, one of my very first Etchr classes was with Jeff. It turned out so well. It gave me the confidence to try other classes. Thank you, Jeff.
No, thank you, Kathy. That's wonderful feedback. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's really heartwarming to hear these. Well, you're hearing it from me, but let's see. Can't wait for the 20th. Would love to see the colors set in. And we've got excellent demonstration and inspiration that just draw. Thank you, says Anne. Peter says, that's great. Thanks for the advice and demo. I used to practice drawing straight lines, but not anymore.
Yeah.
We've got
That's
from
really
Rolf.
good.
Yeah, very brave.
You know how hard it is to draw a straight line? If you draw a building and you're trying to do it absolutely straight, I guarantee that one line will go wrong, and then you'll look at it and you'll feel totally, it would straight away, you'll put it aside and go, oh, it didn't work. But if you start off on the principle that I'm going to draw all of the lines wrong, then you're free. You're free to just play.
Yeah. So you might want to, it's kind of like with a mindset, I guess. Let's see. That's great. Thanks for the advice. You've got Ralph. I like the way you did the foundation or landscape around this one. Bob says, really enjoyed the relaxed character of the houses. They make me smile. I'm going to try some of these. Oh, that's nice. And speaking of, if you'll be following, if you followed along today, or if you'll be trying this in your style, you might want to share that on our private Facebook group or on Instagram. I'll be dropping Jeff's Instagram handle as well, and what hashtags you might want to use. Let's see.
Yeah, please do that. I'd love to see. I'd love to see it. I mean, I try to reply to every comment. So please, I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Jeff and I were talking about how lots of people have messaged him earlier, and he has been so keen in replying to most of all of them actually.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, the thing with it, you create such a lovely community of artists. I mean, I'm a hobby artist right at the heart of me, and that's what I'm here for, the enjoyment of it. That's the most important thing for me. And now I meet other people around the world who do the same thing, and we chat and we have, it's good fun. And I've got to say, on the Etchr Facebook page as well, when I see some of the pictures that people create, and it's wonderful to read, that all the different kinds of styles and things you can see coming out. It's really nice.
Nice. All right, more lovely comments here. My goal in sketching and painting is to paint what I see rather than just what is there. This approach feels like a door starting to open for me. Oh, that's great to hear
Yeah,
from
that's
you.
brilliant.
Yeah, we've got, thank you. I'm excited to go to town where there are lots of craftsman houses that are all unique. Ooh, I envy you. Lovely fun work. Looked at your Instagram account, says Marlene. Sam says Avery, and a very enjoyable class, Avery.
Oh,
Oh, this is super fun. Someone says from Mother Goose, there was a crooked man and he went a crooked mile. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it suits this class. In a little crooked house. Yeah, you should go
I
ahead
get
and
so much more pressure when someone sends me a photo to paint their house and so can you draw it straight? Straight away I start to panic because I start to think, oh, hang on, I need to do straight lines here.
yeah. Oh, okay. We've got more questions right here. Do you do wet on wet a lot?
So I do. I mean, one of the things that I really enjoy, not so much that I'm doing in these lessons, but if you look at some of my work, you'll see that I love to play with color. And when I say play, I mean literally pour color onto paper and just spray it with a bottle and see where it goes. And then I sometimes use masking fluid to mask the image that I want to stay, and then throw color at it. And it is just so liberating, to actually get a pot of paint and just pour it on top of the paper and see where it goes. So yeah, I do use a lot of those wet and wet techniques, and I'll definitely be showing a lot of those on the class because I like to create soft skies where you float color in rather than paint it in, and I actually think people will maybe experience it. I'm not trying to prejudge, but if it's something you enjoy doing and you just want to have a play with color, then come along to the class and we'll do that.
Yay, yeah, I just dropped the link again in the chat. That's on May 20th, 12 p.m. Eastern time. And just a quick reminder for everyone that if you won't be able to follow along because of time zone concerns, the recording will be up a few days after, so you can definitely rewatch it all over again. So no worries about that. The same way with this live demo, you can definitely just refresh this right after we end the broadcast. So, all right, from Francine, you have left the background with white, with a suggestion of sky. Is this deliberate?
Well, so sometimes you see if it's like the houses that we've just been drawing today, one of the things I like is giving them height and elegance. I like to make these old houses look beautiful. So which is the reason why I turn the paper around portrait. If you then put some sky above it and you put a pavement with some darker color at the front, it extends the picture. It makes the picture look even more elegant, makes the house look taller. However, if you want the house to look wider and more substantial as a pub or a bar might look, then you do things differently. Then you might want to use different techniques to do that, and that's what we'll kind of talk about in the class. But I do like to put a nice blue sky on things. In my world, the houses it's always summer. The roses are always out, and the weather's always warm. That's the world that I live in. So, or that's the world that I like to imagine I'm in with my art. So you'll rarely find a winter scene.
Yeah, that's really lovely. I kind of envy you guys.
Well, it's in my head, Kathleen. It's all in my head, and I just try to bring.
Yeah, I'll need to develop that kind of imagination, I guess. I think we can entertain one more question from Marin. This is more of a, could you explain the advantages of the Tombow? I think we don't, they're not really quite familiar with it where they're at in Germany. So I guess Jeff would do the honors to give you the explanation for that.
Yeah. So it's like it's just a series of brush pens. So on one end you've got a brush, on the other end you've got a bit more of a fine liner. They are water soluble, so I only use them today just to give a little bit of shadow. But if you use them in watercolor, they'll disappear because they're water soluble. So normally I would paint that shadow in with which we'll do on the class. But today, just to give you the essence of that, I used a Tombow pen. You can get them in all kinds of different shades, not just Tombow. I mean, they're any. There's a number of different manufacturers that make them, and all they'll do is, if I'm sat, as I say, with a nice cup of coffee and doing a picture, and I haven't got time to paint it, it enables me just to give some 3D to get some shadow into the picture.
Oh, all right. We've got more people right here. Oh, another from Pippi. Wouldn't it be fun to build a suburb of wonderful crooked buildings? Yeah, come to Chicago, which is famous for its architecture, and build a crooked suburb. I'll move in, love your work. Yeah, I think it's one of Jeff's plan for his classes, to do like some sort of community. So definitely, you want to attend his 90-minute class. He's definitely going to teach you the fundamentals so that you guys can do your own community of wonderful houses. I like it very much. I like to learn more. I work with you and it is fun, says Jana. Let's see. Ooh, Cook here. Carol Cook here says, Carol Cook here. I knew Jeff's class wouldn't disappoint. His work is so much fun. Aww.
Hi, Carol. Yeah, Carol sends me quite a few messages and on Instagram. She gives me some good feedback on my work. So thank you, Carol.
Oh, that's really nice, isn't it? When people give you feedback. So yeah, you can actually just also check our private Facebook group. We post lots of works there. Feel free. It's a safe place to post your works. I even post my not so good works and people still appreciate it and they give me feedback too. So it's really a safe place for you guys as well. I highly recommend. All right. I can see a lot of people are telling they have signed up for the class. I'm really excited for that one. Thank you for sharing and teaching your viewpoint or your style, says Francine. All right, I think we can wrap up. We don't have any more questions. Fantastic session. Thank you, says Wendy. Okay. All right, everyone. So our time is up. I hope you enjoyed your time with Etchr Studio, Jeff. And thank you for your demonstration today.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thanks for attending, everyone.
Yeah, and we do these live class previews a couple of times a week, so make sure you hit that subscribe button below. And if you love this video, if you love how Jeff has simplified his steps for you, click on the like button, or you could drop what your thoughts in the survey form. Tell us how we did today. And if you want Jeff back for more classes, feel free to let us know through the form. So you definitely can suggest any more ideas so that Jeff will definitely teach you more about that in the future. All right, and we do have our Etchr podcast. If in any case you're interested to listen while you paint, that's available on Google Podcast, Spotify, and also on YouTube. And also we have what do you call this? These handles and hashtags that you might use if in any case you'll be sharing your works on Instagram or Facebook. So while I drop some final links, Jeff, any final thoughts before we close this session?
No, I just thank you for everyone for attending, and I hope you enjoy your art.
All right, so I'll be dropping the link for our Facebook group, survey form, and Jeff's Instagram handle, and also the 90-minute class. All right, thank you so much again, Jeff, for that lovely demonstration, and thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for being so enthusiastic and for just making the chat super lively. Until next time, everybody, make more art. Bye for now.
Thank you.